Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for your January bonus reading. You have this flexible card and this thinker card. I don't know. You always get these cards of flexibility with me, Leo. So, clearly it is a good time for you to be flexible, probably in your thinking. In the area of your thoughts, or what's on your mind, you have this Two of Swords. And Two of Swords is this or that thinking, but she has this new island behind her, and that new island represents like a third place or a different option. The Two of Swords can also say like you think that something is going to go a certain direction in your life, but really it's going to go a completely different direction. It's like rarely do we start things in life and they actually go how we think, right? So, this to me is saying that something is probably not going to go according to plan, but nothing ever does in life. And also you have the Chariot here, so this is it's probably good that something is not going according to plan. And I think you need to be, your readings basically all have been saying that you need to be flexible enough to allow that to happen, to just allow things to happen. And that's what I would do here. You have the Two of Pentacles. I do feel a little bit distracted here on the Two of Pentacles. So Two of Pentacles can represent spinning plates or having a lot going on. And, obviously if you're trying to do too many things at once, that can be very distracting. I'm a big fan of like 90-day goals. So I don't really believe in goals. I set standards, but that's neither here nor there. But, pretty much every 90 days, I pick like one big project I want to work on, and that's it. No matter if it's working or not, right? Even if I get to day 80 and things are still not working, I still give it that last 10 days. I have found that, 90 days is a good amount of time to give something where if it's going to work, it's probably going to work and you'll figure it out. And if it's not going to work, then it's not going to work. And it's just that simple. And so the reason I'm telling you this is because, again, the Two of Pentacles, I think you're trying to do too much. And so, I used to be the type of person where I would be working on, 90 projects at once instead of one every 90 days. And really, I never got anything done. But like when I switched to the 90-day thing, I get at least 4 things done, 4 big things every single year, which is much, much better than what I used to do because I used to just get nothing done. So sometimes I think we need to like focus and just pick like one milestone or one standard that we set where you say like I want to accomplish this one thing and this is what I'm going to do to get there. And that's what I do. I always say I set my standards. I say these are the standards I want to accomplish, and then I say this is what I'm going to do to get there every single day. And so I pick small little steps to get there, and usually I get there, right? And sometimes I don't get there in 90 days, but if there's progress, I keep going, right? That's the whole point. I only give up on things if there is no progress, right? And so I think the Two of Pentacles is like encouraging that level of focus or commitment to whatever you're working towards here. In the area, your crossing energy is the Justice card. Honestly, I feel like saying life isn't fair. As mean as that sounds, Leo, I kind of feel that the Justice card as your crossing energy is you thinking that things should be a certain way, like you thinking like, oh, if I do X, I should get Y in life. But again, sometimes life just doesn't make logical sense. Sometimes there is no X equals Y. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. And I feel like the Justice card, I think it's encouraging balance, but I also feel it's encouraging you to realize that just, sometimes things do not go according to plan. And we just have to sometimes go back to the drawing board and try something different. And that's exactly what I would do here, because in the area of your thoughts, you have the Two of Swords. Again, she is thinking X equals Y. She is thinking this or that. But really, there is a new option behind her, this island, and the island represents a third place solution. So with the Two of Swords, some people read her as a card of like negotiation or trying to find a middle ground between two things. Sometimes I feel like she's like a card of mediation, like trying to bring two sides together. But for the most part, I look at her as a card of, number one, needing to trust your intuition. She has the blindfold over her eyes. And sometimes the blindfolds in the tarot represent needing to trust your intuition. Like your intuition is trying to tell you to do something and you're not doing it. And so you have to cross these choppy waters behind her to accomplish a goal. We also need to realize that there are just other ways of doing things. And, we have to let go of our fixed thinking, like thinking that, oh, I have to accomplish my goal in this way, instead of just saying, well, I'm going to get started and I'll see where it takes me. And, I kind of feel like that would be a little bit better of a mindset step for you, Leo, is to say like, okay, there's something I want. There's clearly something you want here, Leo. You have the Chariot and the Eight of Wands as your outcome, which is great. The Eight of Wands is a quick accomplishment, but I think having more of that go with the flow type of energy will be more helpful for you with this card. In the area of your foundation, you have the Page of Swords, which is actually pretty good because Page of Swords is a curious energy. And with Page of Swords, I always say follow your curiosity. So with whatever you're trying to accomplish here, I think that as long as you stay curious and you learn about the things that kind of capture your attention or that you become curious about, then you're going to have, a much better time moving forward. And so I would practice curiosity. Sometimes I think the Page of Swords is also like a childlike energy, needing to be more playful, more spontaneous, again, more, asking questions, all that other good stuff. And I would also do that with the Page of Swords. Next, in the area of your past, this is the energy of what you're moving past. You have this dream catcher that says, pay attention to signs, messages, and guidance that come to you at night. I would still pay attention. Even though it's coming up in your past situation, Two of Swords, I would pay attention. You have this Cancer card. It says, nurture all that you love. Take time to care for your well-being and nurture the things you love. Again, I would still do this. Your heart, I think for fixed signs, which you are, Leo, that following your heart is kind of like the key to success. And even here in the area of your future feelings, you have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is all about following your heart and allowing your heart to guide you on your journey. Even if it doesn't make logical sense. I kind of feel that, I don't feel this for all of you. So, take what resonates, right? But I feel for some of you, it's like you're saying that if I do this, then that should happen. Like I said, X equals Y. And King of Pentacles is a card of convention. He, I always say that, he isn't necessarily a bad card, of course. He can represent wealth and creating a financial foundation. But, part of the challenge with the King of Cups, and every card can have a challenge, part of the challenge is that his conventional thinking. He has done something for a very long time the same way, and it works. And there's nothing wrong with doing what works, but at a certain point, we have to kind of break free from convention. We have to start trying new things so that we can evolve and adapt to the changes that are happening in the world. And so, I kind of feel the good news is that you're moving past this. You get this card with me all the time. You also get the Eight of Swords and the Two of Swords with me all the time. You don't have the Eight of Swords here. I'm just, saying. But, again, I think that some of you could be breaking free from convention, which is good. Next, in your very near future, you have the Synchronicity card and this Passion card. I feel like you need to listen to your synchronicities or trust your synchronicities that are happening around you. I also think the universe is trying to get you to create a life more full of passion, like passion projects or, doing things that you can pour your heart into. And that's really what I would be focusing on if I were you, Leo, is, kind of like that heart-based energy. Also, in the very near future, you have the Nine of Swords. A Nine of Swords can be worries or worrying about something. He's had a nightmare, he's woken up, and now he's stuck in a nightmare. The whole point of the Nine of Swords is that he's still too comfortable. Like, he's in pain, but he's not in enough pain to make a change. And so he has this comfort blanket on his lap, and it's providing him with just enough comfort to stay in his situation. I always say the Nine of Swords is the worst card in the tarot. It's not the Tower. I think it's the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords says, the solution to the Nine of Swords is to not let something get to that point where you don't make a change, right? So it says before something gets so painful that you are forced to make a change, make the change now. And I feel like that's what it's encouraging you to do. The good news is, again, you have the Chariot coming up next. So, the Chariot would say you're taking control of your situation and you are getting out of this nightmare, or at least you're doing something to get out of the nightmare. In your outcome position, your outcome row, you have this Koala Spirit. It says Spirit has a plan, so definitely trust your intuition. You also have the Snake Spirit. It says time to heal. Yeah, it's probably time to heal from the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords can be ruminating. It can be an energy of just going round and round and thinking about all the things that aren't working or that could work, that should work, that aren't working. And I feel this Snake Spirit is saying, well, it's time to make a change. And, snakes are symbols of reinvention. They shed their skin and they kind of grow bigger, so it can represent reinventing yourself. Obviously, to get out of the Nine of Swords, we can't keep doing the same thing we've been doing. To get out of this situation, we have to do something new. And so with whatever improvements you're trying to make, I would do something new. You have the Chariot coming up in the area of the next few months, which is amazing, very good. The Chariot can represent setting yourself apart. He has this city behind him, and he's leaving that city behind him because he's looking for something new. he no longer resonates with what goes on in the city. He is in alignment with what he wants. He has these stars up here, these moons right here, and it says that he is in perfect alignment with his desires, and because of that, he is trusting these two sphinxes are going to guide him in the right direction. These two sphinxes represent the mysteries of the universe, so a lot of you, it's like it is a mystery how you're going to accomplish whatever you're trying to accomplish, but I think as long as you're in alignment, then you will reach the finish line. And this is definitely kind of like a finish line reading with the Eight of Wands showing up at the end. Eight of Wands would represent seeing something through to the end and completing it, and that's kind of what I feel like you're doing. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, this is all relationships in your life, you have the Four of Swords. Four of Swords is like resting, recovering, relaxing, healing. So a lot of you could be doing that. It's a pretty good card to get in this area of the reading because, it does say that you could be either healing connections in your life, like if you haven't been spending time with people in your life, or if you haven't been nurturing those close connections, you could be doing that more. It could also just say that your close connections are healing you. So by being with people, you could be receiving healing. Could also say that there's a person right here who's blessing another person in this stained glass window. And, it could say that the people in your life are a blessing, or they are bringing you blessings, or they are, giving you advice that could be a blessing as well. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Queen of Cups. Again, much more connected to your heart. She has this big cup, and I always say it doesn't even look like a cup. It looks like a trophy. And so the Queen of Cups values her heart, like what her heart is telling her to do, over everything else. So the Queen of Cups always reminds me to, follow my heart. And that's what I think you are doing here, Leo, is, following your heart or your intuition, probably both. And, I think that's a good thing. You have the Eight of Wands. Again, finish line. I feel some sort of finish line here. The Eight of Wands can represent like a quick conclusion or something happening quickly. I also like the Eight of Wands for picking a direction. The Chariot has picked a direction by getting into alignment. With the Eight of Wands, all our energy has to point in one direction. We cannot be pulling in two directions. That means your thoughts, everything. Like if you're saying you want to be successful, but you're also speaking negatively to yourself, then you're pulling in two directions, right? So we really have to clean up our mindset, our vibe, and also our actions and our habits as well. We have to kind of like combine all those things together, and we have to, clean that energy up with the Eight of Wands to be successful. And so that's what I would do here with the Eight of Wands, is I would like really clean it up, right? But let's see. Eight of Wands could also be good news coming in for you as well. With the Justice card and the Two of Pentacles, you have the King of Pentacles. Again, I think that this is about, again, looking at what's working. And I would keep doing what's working. I always say with the King of Pentacles that 80% of the time, do what works. Absolutely. There's no reason not to. But like 20% of the time, I would be experimenting, trying new things, upgrading your skills as well. Maybe if I was being, super picky about this reading, the King of Pentacles might think that he knows everything when really he doesn't. And he needs to maybe learn some new things. So even if you've been doing something for a long time, it's always a good idea to upgrade your skills or learn new things, especially in work or business. And with the Two of Swords, you have the King of Wands. Yeah, I do think you're going to have to be brave or bold with the Two of Swords. I said, she has these choppy waters behind her here. They kind of look ripply. And so sometimes we have to, take a risk or take a chance to, find that third place solution on the Two of Swords, or it is a risk. Maybe if you're like reinventing yourself, it would be a risk. And so I think the King of Wands is saying you have to be brave, bold, assertive, and you really have to go for it at this time. Next, with the Page of Swords, you have the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is also about being brave, bold, assertive. Queen of Wands is about learning as you go. So with the Page of Swords, it makes perfect sense. Page of Swords is curiosity. He follows his curiosity. Obviously, if you're following your curiosity, there might be things you don't know, and so you're going to have to learn as you go. This is also pretty good for love. I wouldn't really call this a love reading, but, the King and Queen of Wands are great divine counterparts. They can represent two people who are very passionate about each other, so if you want love, it's here. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune is exactly what I said with the whole 90-day thing. Wheel of Fortune is doubling down on the good stuff and getting rid of the bad stuff just as quickly. The Wheel of Fortune is coming up in the past. So, the Wheel of Fortune is about taking control of your destiny or taking control of your life. The Nine of Swords is the total opposite. Nine of Swords is living a life out of control because you're sitting in pain. And, with the Wheel of Fortune, I kind of feel it's saying that you are, or you already have tried or are like actively doing things to take control of your destiny. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Ten of Swords. Something painful happened here. I think we've talked about this for you before. I think that there has been some sort of painful loss, or it could just be that things are not how they used to be, which can be painful as well. It's like maybe, years ago you were able to run your business a certain way and it just doesn't work anymore. And so, it's like on one hand, this sucks, the Nine of Swords and the Ten of Swords. On the other hand, I think that it's forcing you to take control with the Chariot. So, is it a bad thing? Well, I'm sure it sucks, like I said, whatever happened to you, Leo, or, whatever you've been through over the past few months or years, right? And the Ten of Swords says something is dead, done, over with. The thing with the Ten of Swords is we just have to realize we have to make a change. So, I think the whole reading is basically saying that. With the Chariot, you have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands says when you know that you're going to be successful, that's when you'll be successful. The Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It's about having that deep belief and really believing in yourself and really believing that you can accomplish something. And when you believe it so deeply that there is no other way, then there is no other way other than to accomplish what you're setting out to accomplish. So I think, again, that the reading is really talking about your beliefs or your belief system. With the Four of Swords, you have the Seven of Swords. Again, I would be careful of any past people, especially with the Wheel of Fortune coming up in the past, any liar, cheater, stealers. With the Seven of Swords, this and the Wheel of Fortune together. The Seven of Swords can also represent needing to have more fun. The guy on the Seven of Swords, he has polka dots on his cloak, and the polka dots in the tarot can represent taking things too seriously. And so sometimes the card itself can say that we need to go have more fun, we need to enjoy ourselves more, we need to do things differently, and I definitely get that feeling here. With the Queen of Cups, you have the Four of Wands. Four of Wands is marriage, but again, there definitely could be a person here, but I also feel the Four of Wands for you is my finish line card. And so normally, there's kind of like the garland thing between the Four Wands on the card, and I always say that the Four Wands represents crossing a finish line. So, that's definitely major confirmation for me as a reader, because I literally said that before this card even came up, that this is a finish line reading. So the Four of Wands is committing to seeing something through to the end. I also think you need to commit to the larger vision. Like if there is a goal that you've always wanted to accomplish and you always get very close, but you never complete it, I think this reading is saying like, well, Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords, time to make a change, even if it was painful, right? Even for some of you, this is clearly a forced change. And, again, it's showing up in the reading, the Ten of Swords, Nine of Swords. That would be, kind of like some sort of change that was basically kind of like a tower moment in some ways, because tower is a forced change. And so I think there was, I think at least over the last year, you've experienced some sort of change that maybe you didn't want, but really you had no other choice, right? And so the Four of Wands is about still committing to your goal, whatever this was. I think, what I'm trying to spit out here, and sorry, the message is, I'm trying to clarify it. With the Nine of Swords and the Ten of Swords, it's like there's something that you've always wanted to accomplish. I think that whatever the forced change was, it's like you were very close, then you weren't because of the forced change. Four of Wands says time to go back to the drawing board, which I kind of said on the Two of Swords, and it's time to see how you can accomplish it anyway. And yes, it's going to require you to reinvent yourself or do something differently, but I think that's what will be the most helpful. With the Eight of Wands, you have the Queen of Cups, follow your heart. Yes, following your heart will have you accomplishing something quickly. So I think you need to follow your heart. And the problem with this is the King of Pentacles, right? The King of Pentacles is things should work this way in your mind. And the Queen of Cups is not necessarily like logical thinking. She is like, I'm going to follow my heart and do things whatever the way that my heart tells me to do it, even if it doesn't make logical sense. And, I think that's what's going on here. You have this quill card says, get back to basics. Yes, I think basics is the answer. I also think that, like I was saying on the King of Pentacles, he still needs to learn, even if he's an expert. I always say, I have an old friend who is in the marketing industry, and he's very well known in the industry. And he used to go, when he would go to like conferences and stuff, he would go to all the beginner classes, and people would be like, why are you here? You are like a marketing genius, right? And he used to say, well, it's not like the hard stuff that we forget, it's the easy stuff that we forget. And so he would always go to the beginner classes because it's like that's the stuff he needed to remember. And, that stuck with me forever. I still think about that all the time. And so I think this quill card is basically saying, it's not the hard stuff you forget in work or business or career or even if you're trying to like improve your love life, it's all that beginning stuff. It's all that, the reason, in love, for example, it's the reason you fell in love with a person. People stop dating each other, and that's when they become roommates, basically, and then they get divorced, right? Because they don't do the stuff that made it work in the first place. So, I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying it's love, but, I think for a lot of you, this is saying you need to get back to basics for sure. You have this dogs card that says getting together with friends. Yes, 7 of Swords, 4 of Swords, definitely saying that there could be benefits in having fun and getting out of your head here, Leo. You have this handshake card. It says meeting with a stranger could be important. So we don't really see a lot of people here. I think most of the court cards are talking about your energy, but definitely if you are meeting like a mentor or a person who can guide you, I think that would be very helpful. You have this Vine card. It says seek out information that can help you. Yes. So even if you know everything, I think that you need to learn as much as you possibly can. You have this Dragon card. Yeah, these two came out together, and it says beware of self-delusion. You also have this Rooster. It says an arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. So if you have a delusional person in your life, it might be a good time to avoid that person. Again, we have Mars retrograde in your sign, Leo, still, and really we're not going to be clear of that energy until like April 30th. So Mars starts moving, goes direct February 23rd, but we're in the shadow until April 30th. So again, until that time, if the Mars retrograde energy, it can just kind of make people overly confident. And so I would be careful of people who are overly confident or seem delusional because, it could mess things up for you. But all in all, pretty interesting reading here, Leo, for sure. But thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your month.